Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald, Barrington, Robinson, and friends. Seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. Folks, we're also seen on Comcast Cable Television Flint every Saturday at 6 and every Wednesday at 8:30. We're seen on Detroit, channel 68. Detroit has their own channel, but every Sunday at 9, we're seen downriver on channel 20. Every Tuesday and every Tuesday and Saturday. Please join us. I want to welcome my very talented co-host. We have Mr. Attorney Glenn Cotton.
How you doing, Barry?
Great. And Mr. Henry Hatter.
Good afternoon, Ron and Mr. Attorney.
In fact, we're going to be talking about a attorney, okay? But his name is Barr. But several former and current employees of the Trump administration have been ordered for questioning as it relates to the 2016 and current issues with the White House and Trump campaign, but have refused, including the current Attorney General of the United States. Folks, no one is above the law, all right? What are they hiding, okay, when they refuse to appear in front of this Congressional committee? What are they hiding? You have to ask yourself that, okay? What are they hiding? Henry, what's your thoughts?
Well, and we're talking about supposedly why people who are summoned to appear before the Congressional House are not showing up. Well, if you go back to the last of the episode that ended with Comey, you remember the reason that he did not accuse the president of any wrongdoing is because he wasn't indicted. And you can't, people don't have to come unless they're indicted. And here, folks, I'm talking to a very skilled attorney here. And I may be out on thin ice, but I hope I'm not. But
you're on a little bit of thin ice. The problem that we have and what we have to do is look at what is being done or what is being requested. If the committee has authority as per statute, let's say, and the authority gives the subcommittee the ability to subpoena and have oversight over certain area within the subcommittee's right, then when they issue a subpoena to somebody to come testify and or produce documents related to an issue which they have oversight of, and that person does not come or answer to that subpoena, then that person is in effect defying what I'll call as a court order, because a subpoena is an order, and it's an order to appear. And generally speaking, that has been the problem, is that if a person has been subpoenaed, let's say Mr. Barr, who's the Attorney General, has been subpoenaed, which he has been subpoenaed by the Judicial Committee. And Mr. Barr wants to say that, Mr. Committee Chair, the information that you've requested me to testify to is classified or privileged information. Then that is something that the Attorney General can come and articulate in front of the hearing board members exactly what his position is.
But that isn't what the committee wants.
No, but my point.
Something else.
The point is that he's got to. But he has.
No.
But no. See, that's the problem. Is he has to come down. Instead of coming down and articulating his position, his stance is essentially to flip him the bird and say, "I don't even have to answer your call and come down here."
Well, isn't that true?
Isn't what true?
He doesn't have to answer.
No, he does.
Because that's not specifically what
the subpoena
subcommittee was asking for.
No, the everything is assumed to different roles. So if you're the House Intelligence Committee and you have oversight over intelligent things, then you're able to submit subpoenas regarding the intelligent requests. Here we have a issue that's in front of the Attorney General. And the Attorney General has been asked with respect to information regarding an investigation that is conducted in his department. Therefore, he has the obligation not only to the American people, but to this congressional committee to come before that committee
He's
and
already
test it.
given them the report.
No.
Yes, he has. He's given them the
See.
report.
This is the thing. You're mixing apples with oranges, okay? And that is this: is that you believe because he submitted a redacted report. Yes, the
That's what
redacted
they
report.
wanted.
They want the unredacted report.
But he says you'll only get the redacted.
And guess
that's
what?
within his
And
right.
guess what? He needs to come before that hearing and say that under oath, which he has not.
Well, why should he have to do that?
Because
He
that's the law, Henry.
And concluded that
That's the law,
this-
Henry. The law is
No.
that you should follow the precedent. Guess what, Henry? And I'll give you the prime
Show
example.
me who authorized them to give that to come.
The
before-
statute that authorizes
statute.
there's a statute, there's a USC code statute. Just like the last time I was here, we talked about the subpoena power of the chairman of the House and Ways Committee and regarding tax returns that have been codified. The same exists for oversight, Henry. Those things are codified. That means written into law.
yeah.
So when they're written into law, that means somebody should follow the law.
Did the-
And guess what? When you don't follow the law, there should be consequences, and people aren't talking about the consequences.
That's why they can get away with it.
No, they
Because
see there are
the-
consequences.
The law is not definite enough.
It
And
is.
besides,
I
that
disagree with you,
Subpoena
Henry.
did not say specifically what he had to respond to.
I
And
disagree
he
with
said,
you.
No, I've already done that. He gave you a response.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly,
He gave
and
a
if
response.
I was in charge of
Now
Congress,
they're picking on him.
well, if I was picking on him, I'd be knocking on his door
So
with the
he's
sergeant
going
of
to
arms
use all of his legal rights to challenge.
to obstruct.
No, to challenge you.
I'm going to challenge him, all right. I'm going to knock on his door with the sergeant at arms to drag him before the congressional subcommittee. That's what I would do if I was in the Democratic leadership, because people don't understand. There's precedent for everything that has been done.
Yeah.
Precedent. People believe that you have to reinvent the wheel in order to get something
There's
done.
precedent and statutory, but if it's not statutory, you might still have a problem.
But guess what? It is statutory, and there's precedent, and there's both. So the whole problem is
You
this.
didn't say it was statutory.
I did say it was statutory. I said there's a USC code that exists, which is statutory. Okay, but my point to you, Henry, is this: is that they want to test to see if Congress wants to have any backbone to enforce the consequences. And see, I would give them exactly what they want, the images that they want, and that is the government knocking on your door and dragging you down to the congressional subcommittee, albeit in handcuffs, if that's what you want.
If Mr. Barr did not have these prerogatives to exercise, why aren't the subcommittee pouncing on him?
I don't know. You have to ask them.
Well, you failed the law if you don't execute it.
Well,
you need to stand up and say what you mean and do what you
That's right.
have the power to do.
That's
or be
right.
quiet. Or forever be quiet.
I'm going to agree with you on that. It's time to put up or shut up.
And that's coming.
And see, and that's the whole point.
Oh, you guys are chasing your tail around in a circle.
You'll see. You'll see.
And the circle, you found nothing as you run around the first circle, and then you're running around another circle. Like
How in the hell can you have 2 years
Folks,
of investigation? All right, and then you get this Attorney General. All right, a 4-page, and it's redacted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the hell can you put all of this information that's vital? We pay for this.
Yeah, but
the American public has paid for this.
you can take out
right.
words and sentences and phrases that are likely to be
We want to see the whole thing.
for national security.
The problem is this, Henry, and that is the Congress has the right to see the unredacted version. I may not be able to see the unredacted version. I may not have the right to see it, but Congress should have the ability to see the unredacted version, all right? But more importantly, and we wanted to talk about following the law and the precedent and things of this nature. If anything, and people have not learned from Watergate, and that is the cover-up is always going to be worse than the crime.
Well,
See,
Nixon
this is
took his, he's
Ah,
all out of it now.
but see,
That has been
the problem
established.
is that people under the Trump administration have been lying and been convicted of lying to the FBI
Have
with respect.
Democrats also been convicted of lying?
Not in this administration.
Oh, yes, they have.
In this administration, no.
No, I said Democrats on the other
Well,
side.
we're talking about now, Henry. We're not talking about then. We can talk about Democrats down the line who've been convicted.
I'm talking about now.
No, they're not. There's not one Democrat that's been convicted now with respect to.
But have they been accused of lying?
We're talking about. All
So,
right, former.
Congress is not fit.
We're talking about the Trump administration. Okay, we're not talking about Democrats. We're talking about the Trump administration, his attorney general, and all of those other Republicans. All right, former and current people under the Trump administration. So let's stick to that.
Okay, now you guys are not giving the Republicans credit
For what?
for challenging Trump in this situation
What have they challenged him on?
on many things, including the tariffs and all of that stuff. So you guys know that. But you still think that you're going to make something happen to bring Trump down. And
Henry, I'm not trying to make anything to bring Trump down.
Yeah, that's what Democrats are doing right now. They're doing everything. In fact, including sacrificing the country.
Some of his own people.
Its boundaries.
All right.
We need to work for the integrity of the country, not simply tear it down just because you didn't win or you don't have your way. This country belongs to everybody.
All I got to tell you this, Henry, is that when I took my oath, I swore to uphold the laws of the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the state of Michigan, right? And in my practice of law, Henry, that is the foremost of what I try to make sure that I do.
I believe you try to do it. I'm not sure everybody else does.
But again, when you swear an oath, all right, whether I'm an attorney, whether I'm a police officer, when you take an oath, that oath is not hollow. That oath is based upon something. And when you see something happen under your watch, your duty isn't to your boss. Your duty is to your country. And that is a fundamental problem under this current administration, is they believe they work for the boss as opposed to working for the American people. The American people deserve someone who's protecting and is looking after their interests by, for, and of the people. When you work in government, and I've worked for the state of Michigan in the judicial capacity before, so I understand working for the government, so to speak.
You and I both do that because I took the same oath.
And the point is that you don't take those oaths lightly, and you perform your duties under your job to your best of your capabilities. And if you can't perform those jobs or those duties, you either resign, quit, or get fired. But the point of the matter is that you're doing things to the best of your utmost of your ability. But when you see folks that now it appears we have a lot of folks that want to look the other way when they see something happen that they believe is fundamentally against the American people, and they stay silent about it in the function of their official capacity.
I believe that.
I believe that's a problem. I don't care if it's the Trump administration, if it's the Obama administration. When you see something wrong, you should speak to it, because the American people deserve the truth. And my grandmother used to always say this, and you can remember and someone telling you this, Henry, and that is, the truth sometimes hurts.
Yes, it does.
But the truth will set you free. And see, people always want to get in a zero-sum situation that you're either going to win or you're going to lose. The truth has no winner, has no loser.
But
the truth is the truth.
Anytime you're caught in a terrible conflict, like is going on between the president and the country, I mean Congress, you have to take sides. and everybody does. Now, when you take sides, you're not effective. You're just rolling around with whatever comes out of this process, this mix, will be the side that I'll assume is I will support. But I see both that side for Democrats and I see it for Republicans. They're not doing their business now.
Well, I agree. Government's not functioning. Period.
Everybody is afraid to make a decision.
Our federal government does not function effectively because of the partisan politics that exist and the special
And it's not
interest.
all Republicans.
No,
Republicans are part of it. I know that, but
we're going to say it's special interest
well, we can say
on both sides.
people do join the side that favors their interest, and they don't look at what's right or any kind of solution to the problem that might be what we're discussing. They just jump on the side that they think that there is going to win, and they stay there. They are no longer effective. They do nothing. They're just wait. So until something comes out of it. Now, like this thing with the subpoena here, that be in the House, I think that we need to be cautious. I see what you're driving at, that if Barr is subpoenaed, he should answer. But the first thing I had to make it a point that he has a right to object.
Yeah, but your objection comes in the form of their hearing.
No.
You come there and you say, listen, Mr. Chairman, I object wholeheartedly to you subpoenaing me because guess what? I have executive privilege. I'm protected under the Constitution and all of that good stuff. But he hasn't done that.
But I moved past that, sir.
Okay.
Let's assume that you convinced me that maybe the House should hear his information. With or without the subpoena.
Well, he's got to come.
Well, I'm not.
They'll listen to him if he comes.
He's going to come.
But see, that's the problem, Henry, that we have, and that is the beauty of our republic. And this is the one thing about our form of government that people don't understand is that we are a republic. All right, we have a system of checks and balances. No one part of the system is higher than any other part of the system.
But it breeds a lot of instability, a lot of guesswork. Now, guys, if you think this country is in great shape right now, the next phase, do you know what a democracy evolves into? You know what
a democracy should evolve into a democracy.
No, it evolves into fascist type government. If you go back,
that's where people want to go into with respect to Germany, and that's because they want to say that's the natural consequences of German. All right,
guys, we've never been so divided racially, culturally, economically, religiously, all of that stuff. And we can't even go to Washington and come up with a consensus argument on how to pay for the roads.
Oh, I agree with I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Or what to do about health care.
This is the problem.
And you guys say democracy is working?
Yes, democracy is working.
I don't see it.
And this is the thing that people have to understand about democracy. Democracy does not mean perfection. Democracy does not mean that everything
you got too many people making the decisions. Now, this is like, let me go back here. I'll use this as an analogy. I'm sorry, Glenn. You stir my creativity.
All right.
Now, like we were talking about the abortion, and you got to remember that the brain here is the center of all things, and it directs the body to do everything.
That's right. I agree with that.
That's what Congress should be doing. That's what your government should be doing. But in the same way, instead we delineate the power down to states and individuals and boroughs and cities and so on and so forth. Now, all of them have brain centers. All of them are talking at once. All of them are creating something that's contrary to maybe to what the brain wants. And that's what's happening in Washington. I know this is an analogy that is probably hard for people to follow,
Oh, it's very easy to follow because I'm going to just tell you that it primarily comes from the Republican school of thought because it all derives from your point of local control and local autonomy, and that's big in the Republican school of thought. And so if you take that back and you control everything and you're at the top of the control party and the whole 9 yards, then your party is really the one who's destroying the fabric of America with their policies.
There are a lot of Democrats who feel the same way as Republicans.
But again, they're not in control.
Yeah.
And again, when you exercise that control and it's producing the results that we have, that is part of our democracy, and that is people are going to be able to see and vote to either I'm giving a thumbs up. I like everything that they do. Or no, I don't give them the thumbs up. I give them the middle finger, and we need to change this. Or they can say, you know what? I agree with some things, and I disagree with others. That's the beauty about our system.
That's the beauty of the system,
and people don't recognize that system does work.
Yeah, but the system comes close to cleavage. It's near the edge of the roof. I mean, the edge of the roof.
And it doesn't collapse. And it doesn't collapse.
We haven't seen the last of this yet.
That's right. It hasn't collapsed yet. How many years have we been in a functioning democracy?
Yeah. But
how many? I didn't hear that.
237.
Okay. So the roof hasn't collapsed yet, has it?
Okay, but we're facing a grave thing during the paradigm shift. You don't know how we will break up. We may break up like a ripe watermelon. And go our own directions.
And
we'll
the states,
tear down the country.
The states break up, and California becomes that 6 states that it's supposed to be.
It might.
Okay.
And then we have Mexico. They say they want the whole Southwest back. Now, guys, we have some great problems that our kids and the next generation has to solve. We're talking about them, and we're saying everything is good, and we're making no plans to stabilize the country for the next generation. We're spending its wealth. We spend money like it's going out of style.
But see, each generation accuses the prior generation of spending money like a drunken sailor.
Well, we don't want to become a third world nation by spending all of our treasury. We know that the United States has the largest share of gold in the world. And this is why we're probably still spending. They won't tell you that, but I've looked it up and studied.
Yeah, because nobody knows how much we got in Fort Knox. Yes, I know that.
We own 43% of the gold in the world.
Again, back to my point.
And I think Germany is second.
I think we will agree to this, Henry. Do we know how much gold we have in Fort Knox?
No, I don't. That's not relevant.
Yeah, it is, because you just talked about the economy.
Well, what I'm saying is that this is something that's published before all world banks.
And the amount of gold that the United States has in Fort Knox is not.
It's 43. Well,
and again, back to your point that you're making, I believe, is that the wealth that this country has, especially
because
of the precious metals that we are obtaining.
And that's what keeps us stable, sir.
I don't
It's not the attorney.
I don't disagree.
It's not the law. It's the gold.
Okay, if
it's the gold.
Okay,
keeps us stable.
Well, I'm going to say this.
And once we become a poor country, we will fragment like glass.
Okay, well, I believe that we
got 32 years before the paradigm shift.
We control as much of the world's riches as any one country can.
Yes.
And so I don't think that we're going to be broke anytime soon, Henry.
No, we won't be, but
so we won't lose power.
Yes, we are. We're losing power every day. Now, here's the thing that you don't understand and people don't face up to. Our deficit spending is...
Well, this is your president right now.
We had Democrats do the same thing, and they did it for the right reason. Obama didn't do all of that because he just wanted to spend more money necessarily. He did it because he had to.
So your response to the deficit spending is everything? Should we have a balanced budget amendment and all this good stuff?
I think that we do need to reduce our spending. We never want to become a third world power.
And I don't think we will.
Guys, you have no idea of what's ahead of us. the challenges
Oh,
that
wait,
our kids have to face.
The challenge is, Henry, that's the unfortunate thing is because of my profession, I do know dire straits when I see dire straits, okay? And I am of the belief that the glass isn't either half empty or half full right now, because I don't think we're on the teeter-totter of completely exploiting all of the world's natural resources, but we're close to it.
We need to get back to the topic about the subpoenas and so forth. Is all of the dialogue is great, but the congressional subpoenas, and these folks are not following the law. All right. If I could, I'd drag every last one of them, in handcuffs to appear in front of my committee. Period. All right. You can either say I take the fifth, whatever, but your ass is going to be there.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Trump. Period.
See, I think the problem that the American people have is when somebody doesn't appear, somebody doesn't have a dialogue, just as we've had on various issues, then people say, what are you hiding? And see,
Exactly.
I don't want to come back with the impression that something is not being shared with me because they don't come. And that's what's being left out there right now, is that no one's showing up, so they just leave a mind to speculate. Mm-hmm. And when somebody speculates, they always think the worst with respect to consequences or why somebody's not appearing. So I'm always, going back in the old school and saying that it's good to hear from the horse's mouth what the horse has got to say. So I would say this, and that is, I'm always going to answer a subpoena, whether I like what the person has said, whether or not I agree with what's in the subpoena. By coming and answering the subpoena, mm-hmm. Number one, you're giving respect to the rule of law that has honored and issued that subpoena. But number two, you're showing that you have nothing to hide. And you may take the fifth. You may say for privilege, but you're not hiding nothing.
Yeah, but I agree with you on that. We don't have an argument on that. I said that all of the other stuff was over the hill, and you and I were kind of dovetailing into the same platform argument. There are probably reasons, not probably, but there are reasons why Barr should respond in a way that's respectful to the American people and respectful to the Republican Party.
You just want to be respectful to people in general. That's the whole thing. We talked about
people are the people.
Yeah, but you want to put a label on something.
Yeah, I had to.
But I see, I don't.
It's the Republican.
But again, I try not to put labels because I want to treat people like I want to be treated. All right, so I don't put a label on myself.
We don't have it. And that was the appropriate place to put Republicans, because the Republicans are the ones that are going to pay for this one way or the other.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I mean.
Okay.
I have no problem with them, but also here's my point. I don't have a problem with Barr saying no. He says, I've given you the report, that's all that's required of them. Now, the House committee has to come up with another way of dealing with it. If they can't deal with it, then they should leave it. Walk away, go home.
I agree again.
Thank you.
The present Trump regime, all they do is lie, deny, and defend. Okay? Trump is not above the law, people. Nixon thought he was above the law. But you know what I mean? They got him. And they're going to get Trump too, and the rest of those people that have denied these subpoenas. Okay? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You heard it first on the In My Opinion show. This is Ronald Barrington, Robinson and Friends, saying until next time, stay focused.